Good morning, and welcome to my living room. It's a pleasure to welcome you back for another week. Can't believe this is 69 weeks that I'm recording a video. 69 weeks, and I don't know how much you know about me. If you look at my library, you know I've loved books. But more than books, I have art, I have collections, I'm acquisitive, and this week I gave a 1-hour talk on glass artists, and I'm happy to share that talk with you on Vimeo, and I will put a link on both Twitter and Facebook for you if you're interested in following. One of the young artists that I cited, along with the maestro, who is Lino Tagliapietra, and Chihuly, is Peter Bremmers, who was in our audience from the Netherlands. And he did indeed speak about his art. So enough about art. You came here to listen to me talk about politics and what's happening in our world. Not good, not good at all. 100 million people are suffering from extremes of cold. Whether you deny climate change, whether you deny pollution in the air, whether you deny COVID, it doesn't matter. The facts are there. And they've proven that science trumps conspiracies, it trumps lies. COVID, that's already taken over 500,000 deaths in this country. I can only recommend, after I've had the second Moderna vaccine, I can only recommend to everyone else, take it and protect yourself. If you can get that vaccine, do it. I'm 1 week out of the second vaccine. Symptoms were very mild, and I really feel pretty phenomenal. Got lots of energy, and I recommend it to everyone. Don't get COVID. Don't let it stay in our country so that the virus replicates and the replications and the variants become more virulent, and then the virus is endemic. Let's stop the outbreaks. The sooner we can get to the vaccine and be out of COVID, the better. Does that mean that today, when my grandson comes over, even though he's been vaccinated, he's coming over with his girlfriend, I'm still going to wear my mask. I'm still going to social distance. I'm going to do what's right so none of us can be affected by COVID again. Which brings me to the other topic that we're all simply in denial. That's maintenance. None of our infrastructure has been maintained. We've been warned time and time again. Every time we see a new extreme in weather, we say, it's a one-off. It's not a one-off. These weather patterns are going to continue. And as it gets warmer at the poles and the ice melts, it's going to get colder and colder in other regions of the country. So whether we have ice storms in Texas and in Oklahoma or Louisiana, those lines have to be protected. You might have gotten away with it in Texas when it was hot, But now that it's cold and you can't even pump that gas and all of your gauges have frozen, don't lie about what you didn't do. Don't point the finger at renewable energy. It's only maybe 10 to 15% of your problem. You have decoupled from the grid. You are your own system so that you have no regulation in Texas. And because of that, people are starving, they're dying, their pipes are breaking, and the expense to repair is going to be enormous. And don't think that the power companies in California are any different. When they've got fire seasons, has the local power companies upgraded their systems so that they're not causing the sparks? They're not doing that either. So this is a lot of blame that can be shared. It's understandable. Maintenance, everyone thinks maintenance is something that you have to do, and everyone says they're doing it, and they take the money for the maintenance budget and they put it elsewhere. I know, because when I was hired at Ford Motor Company, I was hired in 1976, and one of my programs was to find out why our paint wasn't living up to Japanese standards. I found out they had a maintenance budget. Nothing went into that maintenance budget. It went into whoever's fiefdom was needing money at the time. That's where the money went. It wasn't until I went through all 21 systems that people and upper management, which was serious about changing the quality of our paint, they all got involved, and we upgraded systems. In the 70s, we spent $180 million on upgrading the paint houses. That was a lot of money in those days. But we realized that if we didn't do that, we wouldn't be competitive. And it was a necessity for Ford to be competitive. So we can do it here. That should be the next project on Biden's agenda. We need infrastructure, not just to make existing buildings beautiful, but to create tunnels, to have our critical grids watched and maintained, and put infrastructure there and IT so that nobody can tamper with our grids, to make sure that our transportation is really running at peak efficiency and it has the brakes that it was told to put in place years ago, but never did. Transportation is key to American workers. Why not make it easy for people to get to work? Easy to get to work and workers who are available for work. That's what we've got millions of employees ready to do. We're not going to get anywhere as a nation unless we pass the relief and stimulus bill. I'm sorry that Biden has decided to go reconciliation and he thinks it could be bipartisan. How can you have bipartisan when you've got a seditious group in the Republican Party and a group that loves austerity when it suits them? Right now, it doesn't suit anyone. We need programs to bring people back to work. We need to stop the COVID outbreaks. We need that relief and stimulus now, not in March when everything else, the unemployment insurance sunsets, but now. And then we need infrastructure. Not next year when they're talking about it, but now. Now, when you have millions unemployed, now is the time to have innovation, creativity, and use our workforce effectively with decent wages. It's kind of a shame Proposition 22 passed in California. It now means that most Uber and Lyft drivers, they don't get benefits, and if they're lucky, they make $5 and some odd an hour, below the minimum wage. It's past time to start phasing in upgrades. You could start at $11. That's not a big deal. $400 a week for people to take home, that's still poverty. So let's be generous, everyone. Let's think and plan for our future. Building back better is a great phrase, but if you don't start working on it now, that's all it'll be. It'll be another wish list for tomorrow. And as we've seen, tomorrows can be dragged out for 40 years. So many people, what's happening in our country is one of my passions because I want to see what's right for we the people. I want to be able to rest easy and know that my children and my grandchildren will have the good life that I experienced when I was their age. And I certainly hope most of you feel the same way. Thank you for listening, everyone. Welcome to my home, and have a blessed day.